Okay, so you guys wanted to know how to make money without having money, right? How to start a business without having any money. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split up this talk into two pieces, all right? The strategic and the technical, because you may be thinking, I need money to create a website, I need money to start a podcast, I need money to set up my domain, I need money to do this, I need money to do that, I need money for the tools that I'm gonna use. Forget about all of that, all right? You can absolutely start a business with no money. Now, you will have to start making money so you can start investing back in your business, because there is no such thing as not investing in your business, all right? So I'm gonna kind of like preface all of this by telling you there is no such thing as running a business for free. That doesn't exist. If you want your business to grow, you will have to invest in yourself. I always recommend that you get a coach, somebody that knows what to do, that has already been there and that you can follow, okay? Somebody that can just pull you to the next step in the ladder and challenge you to have aggressive milestones so that you can get there much faster, okay? I always vouch for that. So I would say as soon as you're able to afford one, your first investment should be a coach, all right? That's all I'm going to say on that topic. I will tell you about my coaching services at the end, because guess what? I do sell coaching services and websites too, but I'll talk to you about that in the end. Right now, this is just kind of like part of the episode, is for you guys to know that these investments are very important to your ultimate success, okay? So I'm going to separate this episode into two: strategy and technical, all right? Strategy. Ready? Let's do this. I'll have a few steps. I have 5 steps for the strategy that I need you guys to keep in mind, all right? The first thing, I'm assuming that you have no money, but I will give you options like the next level up, right? Like if you can spend a little bit of money. And everything I'm going to tell you is literally like a little bit of money, like less than $20, okay? So let's start there. Step 1 for strategy is to prioritize what your goal is, okay? Because if you don't have any money to start, I'm guessing you have a full-time job. I'm guessing you just quit your job and you literally have no income, so you need to start from scratch, from the ground. You really need to prioritize what you do, because you know what's going to happen? You're going to get information from all of these different places. You're going to start hoarding freebies, right? Every time you see somebody's website, you're going to download their freebie and you're going to put it in a folder. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to label this folder launches. And then whenever I'm doing a launch, I'll go back to that folder and read everything about launches. And usually, guys, you just forget about those. You just become a freebie hoarder, okay? So there's going to be so much information out there that you're going to be like, okay, this month I need to get clients, I need to create content, I need to post it consistently, I need to do this, I need to do that. Did I forget to create the Facebook page, right? Did I forget to update my website? Did I forget to edit that opt-in page? Okay, you guys, you need to prioritize, because what's going to happen is at the end of the month, you're going to be completely overwhelmed and you're not going to have gotten anything done, okay? So here are a few ideas, like a few different branches of priorities, so you can pick one, and that's all you're going to do this month. Everything else is secondary, all right? So I'm going to give you 5 ideas, like we're going like fractals now. We are in the strategy section. We are in the first bullet point for what to do in terms of strategy, and inside prioritization there's 5 ideas for how to prioritize. Idea number 1, prioritize getting clients. So how do you get clients? Well, first of all, you need to know exactly what is it that you're selling, right? And the way that you do this is you do a little bit of idea validation, which is completely free. And you can go back to the first episode of this podcast, or if you want to watch it on YouTube, you can go to inacoveney.com/CT1. Corporate Trailblazers 1. CT1, that will take you straight to step 1, which is how do you find your idea, something that you're super passionate about, and it guides you through how to validate it so that you know that it's a good idea that is going to make you money. So definitely go back to the first episode of this podcast, and that was my idea validation challenge. Run through that. Don't skip it. Don't assume that you know exactly what people want. You Don't. You may have a really good idea, but without actually going out and talking to people who would buy your service, you really have no clue. So once you figure out what is it that you can offer people and that they absolutely need, and they absolutely need right now, there's your offer. All right. You do not need a website being set up. You do not need freebies. You do not need anything other than yourself and your skill. All right. So how do you get clients? I actually had an episode about this on actually how to do market research on Facebook, but like it's basically the same. It's basically the same principles. That's episode 6 of the podcast, how to do market research on Facebook for free. And it's the same principles. You go out and you find people who would love to have your service, and then you start replying to threads. So this is a matter of joining a lot of Facebook groups. And I want you to think about this. It's a very big world, and Facebook is a really big platform. So there are literally thousands and thousands of Facebook groups with your target audience in them, and they're currently asking someone through those groups, hey, how do I find somebody who can help me with my taxes? How do I find somebody who can help me set the priorities in my life? How do I find somebody who can help me as a personal trainer? There are so many people out there actually asking for you. They're trying to find you and they can't. So it's up to you to go to those Facebook groups and respond to these people. So go out and find them. Respond to them, send them a private message saying, this is what I do, this is my experience, I can definitely help you with this. Figure out what your rate is. You would figure that out through market research, right? Through the first 5 episodes of this podcast, you should be talking to people and how much they would pay for your service. Should be doing that. All right. That's how you get clients. You prioritize getting clients by getting out there and finding them. They are looking for you too. Okay. Number 2, you could prioritize creating content. This is what I did. And you could say it was because of fear, right? Because I didn't know if anybody would buy my services. So I decided to hide behind content before I went out and got clients. But what do you want me to tell you? That's what I did. We all have our fears. We all have our hangups. You have to figure out what yours are. All right. But I decided to prioritize content and to say, you know what? I want to have so much content out there that people have no option but to run into me on YouTube and Pinterest, on a podcast. Like, I want to put so much content out there that there's no doubt to anyone that I exist, right? And then people will come to me. That was my strategy. So what I did was, first thing I did was I set up my website. I created my first freebie. I created my first tripwire offer, which is actually a branding course that is still out on my website. I created a whole bunch of YouTube videos teaching people how to do this, how to make this happen. I have someone, actually, I ended up hiring somebody who turns my podcast episodes and my YouTube videos into pins for Pinterest. So that's what she does. And I pay her, some money to actually do that so that I don't have to take care of it. So I prioritize content, putting myself out there as much as possible, creating a Facebook group, starting to drive people to it. All right. Next thing you could prioritize, number 3, is to launch a product. So you have to create a product and go through the launching steps. I have not created an episode about launches, but I will. Something tells me I will. But this is a matter of either having a webinar or having a challenge, a 5-day challenge that you put out there so that at the end you can sell your service, make people aware that you exist and what you sell. So create your product and start selling it online. That's another thing that you could prioritize. Another thing is building community. So I could go to all of these Facebook groups and pluck them out, find people and tell them, hey, did you know that I have a Corporate Trailblazers community where it's all women entrepreneurs who are trying to make it happen for themselves? You should join us. I have really good stuff there, right? So you could prioritize a building community, which is through creating freebies for people to sign on to your mailing list so that you can get back to them on a, weekly basis, things like that. So building a community could be one of the things that you want to prioritize. Start to get people in the door, start to give them value. And the way that you do this for free, giving them value for free, is doing Facebook Lives, right? You go live every day, every other day, every week, whatever you want, and give them value. And how do you know what value is? If you went through the first 5 episodes of this podcast, you would know what value is. You need to talk to people and see what they need and what they need right now. That's how you build your community. Next, you could prioritize outsourcing. So if you already have a little bit of a business going, but it's not going well or it's not growing as fast as you want, you could prioritize for the next month, outsource the heck out of your work, right? Just like I did with my pins, you could do that with anything else. All right. So those are the 5 ideas, 5 things you could prioritize in your first month. All right. Pick one. I don't want you to get frustrated and I don't want you to drop out. Okay. I want you to be clear that for the next month, you're not going to do anything else except for this: finding clients, building a community, creating content, launching a product, or outsourcing whatever stuff you need to outsource. Okay? So that is step 1 of the strategy section. Step 2 for strategy: focus only on one goal per month. And I just told you what the goals probably are, but this is key because if you don't have a coach, keeping yourself accountable and keeping yourself doing something consistently is very hard. Even if you're a type A person, even if you are the most driven person in the world, this is really hard to do. It's really hard to not quit when nobody is watching. All right. So super important step 2, focus on getting one of those things done and actually do it. Step 3, develop your story and brand. Don't just sell your services. Put yourself out there as the expert, as the one who knows the most about this. What is your story? What is your brand? What do you stand for? What are your values? Make sure that all of that is clearly visible on your Facebook group, on your Facebook page, all of that stuff. Everything screams, Ina is a corporate trailblazer. She is an awesome person to follow because you learn a lot from online businesses from her, a lot from doing things on the side from her, a lot from doing all the things that I want to do. Ina can teach me how to do, right? Somebody should know, people should know, like your ideal client should know what they're going to you for. Develop your brand. Spend a little bit of time to think of your story and share your story, all right? There's going to be more on that later in the Facebook group, so I want you to keep an eye open for that. Okay, step 4, always be visible. It is not enough to go out, like if you decided to prioritize clients, it is not enough to go out there, block them out, and just have a few clients a month and then be happy with that. Not enough. Because once one of those clients drops out, getting a new client is that much harder, all right? Acquisition of clients is always harder than keeping the ones you have, all right? But it will happen. So what you want to do is make yourself always visible to people so that people can start knowing you, liking you, and trusting you. So you can do this through Facebook Lives. Again, you can do this through Instagram Lives. There are a million ways to keep your face out there and keep your message out there, okay? Next and last, seek to be featured. Okay, after you have prioritized, like how is this going, guys? Is this like, we're still in section 1, but I hope that all of this is helpful so far. Okay, we're in step 5, the final step of the strategy section, which is seek to be featured. Okay, after you have prioritized all of that, right? After you've prioritized getting clients, after you've prioritized creating content, all of that, it is super important that other people are talking about you. So what you're going to do is you're going to join a whole bunch of more Facebook groups and you're going to tell people, hey, I'll do a trade. All right. I write on your blog, you write in mine. Or I'll do a trade. I'm featured on your podcast, you're featured in mine. It doesn't have to be an equal like for like trade. It could be, hey, if you feature me on your podcast, I'll let you hijack my Instagram account, right? I'll let you hijack my Instagram story and post a video there so that people are more aware of you, all right? The larger your audience, the more leverage you have. So the easiest way to be featured is to be featured by other people who are also at the same level as you, who are also starting out, whose audiences are comparable. And that way you start building that, building your audience little by little, little by little. Do not go for the entrepreneur on fire on your first month, all right? No matter how awesome you are, they will want to make sure that whatever they put out there will get them views. And if your audience is very small, they're not gonna want you, Okay, doesn't matter how awesome your stuff is. So start small. Start with people whose audiences are very similar to yours. All right, and that's another thing when you're looking for features, make sure that their audiences are similar to yours. By the way, I'm going to take a screenshot of this right now. Hold on. Okay, so for some reason, Facebook thinks I am my sister. So it just asked me on the Facebook Live, do you want to tag your sister in this video? No, I'm me. I'm not my sister. So I just took a screenshot of that to send it to her. That's hilarious. Okay, so that concludes the strategy portion. Nothing that I just mentioned costs money, and that is what your business is based on, okay? But you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You can't do this in secret. You can't do this, hoping nobody's going to find out. You cannot do this by yourself. You cannot do this without support. You need support, you need a goal, and you need to put yourself out there, okay? So if you're afraid that the people at work are going to find out, you're not going to grow your business, all right? It's going to be very secretive, right? Have your Facebook group. That's okay. Nobody at work has to see that. You don't have to be posting things on LinkedIn, right? But it's very important that you put yourself out there. Visibility is huge. You're not going to get anywhere without getting clients and without visibility, period. So why don't we talk about the technical side? That's the part that everybody feels like they need so much money for. And I'm here to tell you, not necessarily, okay? So let me tell you about this. Technical. I only actually have 3 steps for getting the technical done with no money or with a little money. I'm going to give you both, okay? So step 1, website. Yes, you need a website, all right? I just told you in the first part, in the strategy part, that you don't need a website to start. In fact, a Facebook page is just as good as a website. It's just as, publicly visible, and you can post a lot of things there. It's just as good as a website. But if you're going to have a serious business, people are going to ask you, what is your website? And you need to have an answer for that, okay? So this is not your first step. You could go through the entire strategy portion that I just gave you and have a viable business, have clients, be serving people without any of the technical stuff I'm about to tell you. It is so important to me that you know that, because I will talk to you about the need for a website, the need for different outlets, and I need you to be aware that this is not your step 1. Your step 1 is in the strategy section and in the first episode of this podcast, okay? Okay, so now that you've understood that, here's the technical piece. Yes, you need a website, all right? It is not just used as your contact card, right? It's not just used as your business card. A lot of people do this. They create a website. They never revisit it. It's just for me to have a picture of myself and for me to list my services and for me to have my contact information, and that's it. No, wrong way to use your website. Your website has to have a living blog in it. Why do we care about a living blog? Because we care about SEO. SEO means search engine optimization. And Google and all the other search engines, they care about your site being relevant in order to offer it to people. So for your site to be relevant, it has to be updated with a certain frequency. And the best way to do this is by having a blog where you're posting materials like blog posts that people can go to, right? That people love, that people are going and reading and sharing with other people. And not only that, your website actually has a secret power, which is the power of targeting ads to people who have visited your website on Facebook. So you are going to need this. You are going to need this traffic. So I strongly suggest that you do not use your website as a business card, all right? You have to use it for your blog and you have to post on it consistently. So how do you get a website going if you don't have any money? 2 ways. I'm going to give you the free way and I'm going to give you the little bit of money way. The free way is there's a million website platforms out there. You can do this for free. If you go to WordPress.com, you can create a blog for free. Now your website is going to be, in a nutshell.wordpress.com. This is true. But creating a domain to mask that address, right, to be on top of that address, costs very little money. So yes, you can do this for free, but your website is going to have WordPress.com in the name, all right? What effect does that have? it doesn't look incredibly professional. All right. When you do things for free, that's what happens. When you spend money, you look more professional. That is just a fact of life. All right. That's just a fact of business. Spend no money, don't look professional. Spend money, look professional. Okay. So yes, you can do it for free. Iffy about that. All right. So you can have your free blog and add a domain to it. How much does a domain cost? Like $15 a year. Something like that, or $15 for 3 years. And I'm going to tell you a way that you can get the domain for free, okay? Which is, because I'm going to warn you about this, it is very important that whatever you do, I don't know how to say this in less blunt terms, but don't go for the Squarespaces, for the Wix, for the Weebly. Don't go for those drag and drop websites, because you know what's going to happen? First of all, there's a learning curve, right? You're going to have to learn how to use these tools. But in the end, if you're planning on growing your business, you will inevitably find yourself migrating to WordPress. And I'm not talking about the free version of WordPress. I'm talking about the hosted version of WordPress. I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit, okay? You will do that because there's a big reason why the big shots use WordPress instead of these other plug and play tools. And that is that number one is the cheapest one of all of them. Number two, you get more for your money. You get full features. You can create short links, right? Like when I say inacoveney.com/Facebook, that directs to my Facebook group. That link, I created it in my WordPress webpage using a Pretty Links plugin. Okay? So the ability to have plugins for anything you want on your website, that is invaluable. And these plugins are free. Most of them. Again, if you want to look more professional, if you want more features, you will have to pay. That's just a fact of life. There's no way to do all of this for free. All right? But if you are going to end up in WordPress anyway, but you want to do this for free, I would suggest that you start with WordPress.com. You just have to be aware that you're going to have to migrate your content from WordPress.com to your hosted version of WordPress once you decide to scale up, once you start to have a little bit of money and you can move your website. So there will be a migration there. But I recommend that if you have no money, you start in WordPress.com so that at least you learn how to use the interface. And that is going to reduce the learning curve once you go for the hosted WordPress. Let's talk about the hosted WordPress. It's super cheap, guys. It's like $3 a month. All you have to do is find a host. And I actually created a WordPress course. It's called WordPress for Complete Beginners. And you can go check it out. It's at inacoveney.com/WP course. WP stands for WordPress, WP course. And that will take you there. You can buy it at any time. And in that course, I actually guide you through the design principles that the big shots use. I guide you through picking your host, the host that is best for you, all the prices, downloading, installing WordPress. All of it is in the course, all right? And so that's what you do. What you do is you create your WordPress site on a host. And if you don't have any money, because that's what this podcast is about, not doing it for money, right? Not paying for my course, that is totally fine. You're not going to do that first. You're probably going to do WordPress.com, buy yourself a domain, very little money, like $15, and then go from there. And when you're ready, migrate to a host, to a hosted WordPress account, redesign your website, and migrate the content. That's probably what you're going to end up doing. So, website, free website. Yes, it's possible. Do you need to pay money for it? I would suggest that at least you pay for the domain. Go to WordPress.com, buy your domain, and attach it to your WordPress.com website so that at least it looks professional. It's in a nutshell. In a nutshell, web.com used to be my website. Now it just redirects to inacoveney.com. So that's what I have to say about the website. I hope that helped, and I hope that helped alleviate any fears you have about having to spend too much money on your website. If you get to a point in your business where you want to redesign your site and you need somebody to actually build it for you, that costs more money, of course. But that's the kind of stuff that I do, and I make a good living making websites for other people. So stay in touch and remember who taught you how to start your business for free when you have the money to spend in your business. Remember this phase. All right, number 2, okay? We are in number 2 of the technical part of this podcast, which is recording and editing. Okay, here's the deal, guys. Remember what I told you about being visible? you gotta stay visible. You gotta post videos on YouTube. You gotta post videos on Facebook Live. You gotta post videos on your Facebook page. You gotta post videos on Instagram. You gotta do all of this stuff. There is a new platform called IGTV, which if you're listening to this podcast 5 years from now, is not so new, and I'm sure there's a brand new platform out there that everybody's using. All right, but right now IGTV is the newest one. So for IGTV, which is Instagram TV, you actually have to create the video and upload it. It's not a live situation. So sometimes if you record your video horizontally, if you want to upload it to IGTV, you're gonna have to make it vertical somehow, because IGTV is all about vertical format. So for that, you're gonna need editing software. Ina, how do I do this for free? Okay, chill out. I'll tell you how. All right, first of all, you need to start by going live and repurposing that content everywhere you can. If you need to edit things, which I do recommend, I recommend that you add some captions to it so that they're easier to watch, right? Like put your name on the screen, or some clip art here and there. All of that editing, all of that, you can do it on your phone. Right now there's an app called InShot, which you can download to your phone, and you can edit any videos you want. You can add filters, you can add text, you can go from vertical to horizontal, horizontal to vertical. You can do all of that. So, and it's free, right? There's a paid version where you get a lot more filters and a lot more features, but this is a really good place to start. It's called InShot, InShot. That's how you can edit your videos and repurpose them and post them. Okay, posting in all these places sounds very overwhelming, but guess what? You don't have to post in all these places, like download and repost and download and repost. You can just go live in all of these places at once. You guys, if you have a phone, if you have a smartphone, you have probably upgraded it at some point in the past couple of months or in the past couple of years, which means that your old phone is still out there somewhere. If you are also from this modern day and age, you probably have a tablet out there. All of these devices still work. Put them on the Wi-Fi, download the Facebook app, download the Instagram app, and go live on multiple places at once. All right? You can do that just by propping them up on a table. You don't need money for it. I did spend a little bit of money, and it wasn't much, to buy myself a multi-camera tripod. So that's what I'm going live on right now. I'm actually recording a video, and I'm going live on Facebook right now with multiple devices. And I just recorded a video for Instagram, which is also up here. So that's just spending a little bit of money to have a little bit of a better setup, but you don't need the money, okay? You just prop up the phones on a table wherever you can and go live on multiple places at once. And that's how you repurpose content and save yourself some time. You don't need to spend money on that. Next, editing your messages. So not everything about being visible has to be video, right? I prefer video. I love video. That's my medium of preference. But you might have a lot of photos. You might be a photographer, or you might be, just have a good eye for really good shots. You can actually just publish those, turn them into pins, turn them into Instagram posts, turn them into Facebook posts, and you can do all of that in an app called Canva. And it's completely free to join, canva.com. And, you can create posts for different social media outlets there. That's how you edit stuff. The third and final technical piece that I will leave you with is starting a podcast. You don't need a lot to start a podcast. You do need to spend a little bit of money on a good microphone. This is very important because right now the audio quality is a commodity, which means that it's everywhere and it is expected. So when somebody listens to your podcast and you have just crappy audio, people are going to turn you off. It doesn't matter that you were going to give the secret of alchemy. It doesn't matter. People are not going to listen. People are going to turn you off. So having really good quality sound is the most important thing that you do in a podcast. All right? So I recommend investing in a microphone. All right. I don't know how much those cost. I don't know how much it's gonna get you, but I really recommend that you do it with a good microphone. Having said all of that, you don't need to spend any money to start a podcast. All right. All you need is your phone, create an audio file, and then upload it somewhere for free. So a couple of services that you might want to look into are SoundCloud and Buzzsprout. They do have limits. All right. They have limits on how much audio you can upload per month. So that means that you can't just have very lengthy podcasts, and you can't have a podcast, every single week. All of that is possible. All right. Unless your podcasts are like 15 minutes long and you go on every week, that seems a little bit more doable for free. But like I said, to grow your business and to do things professionally, you will need to spend money. But do you need the money? No. Anybody can have a podcast for free. Also, I may talk to you about this later, but I host my podcast in my WordPress site. It's corporatetrailblazers.com, and the only purpose, the only mission, its only job, that website is to hold the podcast episodes. That's all it does. So I created this website, this WordPress site, using a host that I already owned. I was already paying for it. So technically, it didn't cost me any additional money to publish a podcast, because I published it on a host that I already had. I just installed a new version of WordPress and I started publishing my episodes, and it's unlimited. I have no limits to how much I can talk and how many episodes I can have, and it was completely for free with a host that I already had. So I go through all of that, actually selecting your host, in my WordPress course. So if you're interested, inacoveney.com/WP course, and that will guide you step by step with a lot of visuals, with a lot of video, how you create your website from start to finish, from nothing to end. So that is basically it. We covered the strategy portion, we covered the technical portion. This is how you start your business for free. All right. Once you start to get a little bit of money in, though, start investing right away. And your first goal should be to hire a coach so they can keep you on task, so that you're never distracted, so that you have weekly goals and monthly goals, and you never lose sight of it, because I don't want you to quit. Quitting is very easy when nobody is watching. So actually, I just launched my new program. It's called the Star Launcher. And the reason it's called the Star Launcher is because I noticed that there were a lot of people out there who struggle with the technical part. Now, because this is something you're going to realize in your business, that there are things that are so second nature to you and so easy for you to do, but they're not as easy for others. And that's where your service comes from, right? You want to help others make that easy. That's kind of what technical parts are for me, right? So making a website is usually like a no-brainer for me. I just can do it. So I watched my clients create their website, and I am super proud for what they've accomplished. And I thought, I think we could do this faster. So I decided to create a new package saying, I'll just make your website. I can make it super fast. I can make it with you, specifically to your specifications. And that way you can just start focusing more on the strategy part and on the building content part. So that's why it's a Star Launcher, because it really rocket launches you into the next level much faster. It's a 6-month program, and I work with you on a weekly basis on monthly goals. All right. And that's what we do. And your website gets created professionally and super fast. So that's what we do. And if you are interested in that program, all it takes is to set up a call with me, because I am interested in doing it, doing this program with people who are driven, who really have their goals in sight, and who I can help get there super fast. The program is not for everyone, so it requires a little bit of an interview. All right. I want to make sure this is actually the right next step for you, and that is going to be a good partnership. So if you're interested, go to inacoveney.com/calendar, and that will get you in my calendar. Find yourself a spot, and let's talk about what you want to talk about. All right. So with that, I am going to close this out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the Facebook group. Go join it, inacoveney.com/Facebook. All right. See you later. Bye.